Hi, ladies, welcome aboard. And he rolls up.
How long have you been in?
I've been in about a year now.
Okay, why did you pick the Navy?
Well, my naval career started about 75 years ago.
Whoa.
How could that be? Because I don't look 75. My great-grandfather was in the Navy. My great-grandfather went into the Navy. My grandpa did. My mom did. And my dad was also in the Navy. And then my twin brother joined the Navy, so I thought, well, now it's my turn to join the Navy.
Well, you think that, how long was your enlistment now?
Mine is 5 years.
Did you ask to get on board this? You were going to sign to it?
I got assigned to this. They gave me orders.
Wow! Why do you think you predicated that they gave you this assignment? Do you have any idea or your own opinion?
I went to an interview with our commanding officer, our executive officer, and our command master chief. And I think they thought, hey, you're okay at history, you're decent to look at, and you're kind of fun. So they sent me here.
First name?
Emma.
Emma, nice meeting you today.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, you're both in the Navy. And yet you both have a Navy uniform on. I notice your hats are different, and your uniform is different here. Can you tell me the difference between this uniform and that uniform?
They're phasing this one out, so by October 1st I have to switch over to the green ones.
Oh, by October 1st?
Yes, sir.
And you already switched over?
Yes, sir, I did.
Now, did they allow you a uniform allowance to change you over?
Yes, sir. You get a uniform allowance every year.
Okay, so this will be obsolete?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what's your hometown?
3 Mile Bay, New York.
Okay, and what are you doing down here? Are you assigned down here, or are you TDY?
I'm just helping out for the day for safety coverage, for medical coverage.
Okay, what your first name is?
Devin.
And how long you been in, Devin?
8.5 years.
Going to stay in, maybe?
Maybe.
And what is your name, sir?
My name is Daryl.
And where are you from?
From LA.
LA?
Yes, sir.
Wow. And how long you been in?
8 years now, sir.
You look like you're going to stay around? We'll see.
Yeah,
huh?
we'll see.
Yeah.
You never know, you know.
Are you assigned to this Constitution?
No, I'm not. Both of us are part of the clinic up there in Portsmouth. So that's where we station now. We're just helping out with the medical coverage for this event right here.
Okay. If you're in the medical field, would you be covered in the Marines sometimes? Some people would cover the Marines also? Because they're part of the Navy, actually.
Yes, sir.
Of course, you can't tell a Marine that, could you?
Yes, sir. So, yeah.
Yeah. Nice talking to you both today.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How are you, Nick? Nice to see you.
Good to see you. Now, Miss McDonald, this is your daughter? I thought you were sisters.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I don't think that's a compliment to her.
So, how many years were you in the military?
32.
32 years.
How about you? How many years were you in?
I was only 25.
What?
Yeah, but you're 2 years younger than I am, so therefore you qualify for that. It didn't make much sense. Now, where do you take basic training?
Fort McClellan, Alabama.
And are you proud of your service?
Oh, absolutely. I was, proud of my service. Had a wonderful time being in the service.
You were great to serve with because you were intelligent, you were a lady, and also you showed the difference of the difference. In other words, you were there and you're dedicated. You're a mentor of mine.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Commander John Benda, Executive Officer of USS Constitution. Thanks for being here today. A lot more to follow, but I just wanted to reiterate right away that with the rain that we're experiencing right now, the slicks can get quite slick, especially the ladders going from the top deck down. So I'd like to strongly encourage that everyone, when you're going up and down the ladders, to go backwards, holding on to the black lines at all times, and please go slowly. Thank you very much.
Okay, camera today.
Oh, you're sure welcome, Nick. It's always good to see you, hon.
Nice to
Take
see
care.
you, Nick.
Make them get in the picture. That's all that. That's all that. Don't put me in it. You'll break the camera.
What do you say? What do you say to me?
Would you like to get into the picture with the ladies?
Would I like to get? Yes, I would. Push it down, nice and easy. One. Let it up, let it up. Okay, push it down, up, down, down, up. Take 3 or 4 pictures. Now, click, click.
You got to remember, I'm a 3rd grade teacher. I don't know.
You can tell he's a photographer.
Hi, how are you today?
Good, and you?
Good. What's your first name?
Dolores.
Dolores, where are you from?
I'm from Boston.
Okay. And what brings you here today?
They invited the Gold Star to come on this trip. So here I am.
And did you lose a loved one in service?
Yes, I did. He was in the Army and Vietnam. And so when he came home, he had a kidney disease. And so it went on until he was 100%. So he died 100%.
What was his name?
Manuel Pina.
Manuel Pina?
Yeah, Manuel Pina.
P-I-N-A.
Yes.
And he was Army?
Yes.
Okay, and nice to see you here today.
Thank you.
Along with the Gold Star wives?
Yes. Yes,
that's
Gold
it.
Star wives.
Yeah. Thank you very much for being on camera.
Thank you.
This is a little bit of rain than was anticipated this hour. Sir, good morning. Good morning.
Well, good morning to you, sir.
How are we doing today? Welcome
Oh,
aboard.
fine. And it's a great day, even though it's got this little sprinkle.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
Irish Mist, my grandmother used to call it.
Oh,
It'll keep us cool.
What is your hometown?
My hometown is Brooms Island, Maryland.
How long have you been in the military?
Going on 19 and a half years now.
Oh, you only got 6 more months to go.
And I've been in the seat of the 75th in command of Constitution for about a year and a half.
Oh, you're the head honcho here.
Yep, Nathaniel Schick.
Well, you got to remember that I'm Army, so I'll be using different kind of colloquial language here.
No worries. Lieutenant Colonel then.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Pleasure to have you on board, sir.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you, I noticed you've been watching me with this camera.
I've been keeping close track of you. Where are you from?
I'm from Framingham.
Framingham.
Yeah, I got my own TV programs.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and I put this on my TV, and it goes to 12
Way to
different
go.
towns.
U.S. Army. What did you do in the U.S. Army?
Well, I was served in Korea.
Huh?
Yeah, the Forgotten War.
It's not forgotten.
Some people...
They're still negotiating the end of it with the North.
Joe, what's your hometown, Joe?
Boston.
Boston? And what brings you here, Joe?
I'm here with a bunch of other Navy officers, former Navy officers, to take a ride on the Constitution.
And you were in the Navy?
Certainly was.
And what was your rate?
Lieutenant.
Okay. And proud of your service?
Absolutely.
Good.
Proud of
nice
swift
to talk
boats.
to you today, Joe.
Navy swift boats, remember that.
Say that again?
Navy swift boats, remember that.
Swift boats. Now, tell me about that. What's a swift boat?
You have to read Dan Daly's book.
Dan Daly.
Whitewater and Red Hot Lead. Put that out.
Whitewater and Red Hot Lead.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Very good.
Now, what's your rank? Commander or
So, commander and then captain of the ship.
captain of the ship?
Yep.
Terrific.
So what brings you here today, sir?
A cruise for Vietnam veterans.
Oh, that's
So
good.
the 3 of us are here. We got a destroyerman, we got 2 swift boat people, and that's why we're on board.
Well, tell me. Oh, Joe Patton told me about swift boat people.
Yes, he did.
Tell me about what's swift boat. What does that mean? I mean, I'm Army. You got to help me
Read
out. here.
Whitewater and Red Hot Lead.
He has read the book.
You read the book?
Yeah, way back.
Page 301. It's got this guy in it.
Yep,
There you go.
So you wrote the book, sir.
I did.
And your name?
Dan Daly.
Dan Daly.
Right.
And
Well, swift boats were, 3,500 people over a 5-year period, 50-foot aluminum boats, and they patrolled the rivers and the coast of South Vietnam.
Yeah.
So that's what we did.
how did you get all your information for that boat?
Out of my brain, because I sank my boat. There were no records, so it all came from memory.
Nice talking to you today, Dan.
Nice to see you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Bye.
How long you been in the Coast Guard?
3
3 years, sir.
I want to say that it's the smallest branch, but they do the most work.
Thank you. We'd like to think that too. Absolutely. We've served in every armed conflict since World War II. My grandpa was in Vietnam, and he used to tell the stories of how the coasties used to run the boats and drop men off on the shores and whatnot. So that was a big part of my motivation.
And what's your hometown?
Portales, New Mexico.
Wow, that's great. Do you like this weather?
I'd prefer it to be like another 80 degrees, but it's okay. I'll live.
Just talking to you today.
Nice meeting you.
Tin Can Navy, you know, is what about 300 people on board?
That's about it.
And a little bit of a wave, and everything moves around, and you're shaking like a rocking chair.
Gets snotty.
But
it's all right.
Nice talking to you today. Where's your hometown?
My hometown now is Fort Myers.
Where were you when you joined the Navy?
I joined the Navy. I was over in Wilmington, Mass.
What's your name, sir?
I'm Jeff.
Jeff, your
I
name?
grew up in Wellesley, Mass. Jeff Moore.
Jeff, I noticed you're Marines retired.
I am.
How many years service?
30.
30. Wow.
I was an intelligence and communications officer, stationed at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina primarily, and spent time in the Mediterranean, spent time in Thailand, spent time in Korea. I traveled around.
Oh, that's great. What did you major in college?
Psychology.
Well, can you help me out a little bit? You told me, you said, hey, you're all over the place with that little camera of yours. And I'm like confetti. I'd like to pick up anybody in the crowd.
Well, that's good.
And I spotted you right away.
Starts conversations.
Yeah. Thanks very much for being on camera.
You're welcome.
Captain,
Brother from another couple of retirees from the bad old days.
Frank McGurn and the United States National Guard, the only outfit that has the Concord and Lexington streamer on its flag.
That's right.
How are you?
I'm doing real well. How about yourself? Good to see you.
And, what was your job with the National Guard? What was your title?
Well, I'm still working for him as the executive officer for General Keith, for the Adjutant General.
Now tell me, when you were in active duty, what you were
Rank component commander. Yeah, I made PG.
Okay.
How about that?
Why do you think I wanted to be on with him? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Oh, yeah.
Many years.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm still doing the video.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Going that way.
Great to see you still. Yeah. You look like you haven't changed a bit.
86.
Come on.
86.
I love you, man. You gotta give me your diet. What do you do?
The guy upstairs has got a job for me.
There you go.
Tony, get the camera, send it out to the community, get a fuselage, get it together, glue it together, do the things. I do a lot with the YD too, state house, all that. Get the word out.
No, I've seen some good products.
Well, thank you very much.
It's good to see you.
Excuse me. Nice talking to you.
Yeah. And always good to see you too, man. Take care of yourself.
NORAD and U.S. Northcom arriving. Good morning, crew members and distinguished guests. I am Commander John Benda, Executive Officer of USS Constitution. On behalf of our 75th Commanding Officer, Nathaniel Schick, I'd like to welcome you today to the oldest and finest commissioned warship afloat in the world. This ship is a living symbol of our nation's proud history. The crew and I are honored to have you join us today as we commemorate those who served our country during the Vietnam War period of 1955 to 1975 as our small way to say thank you. Before we get underway, there are a few things I'd like to tell you about Constitution and today's planned events. First of all, I would like to ensure that you know about our safety and comfort related issues. Although she earned the nickname Old Ironsides heroically in battle, this is indeed a wooden ship. Therefore, there's absolutely no smoking or open flames allowed on board at any time in any location. Please do not climb on any of the bulkheads of the ships or in the ship's rigging, as they are slippery. Also, if the decks are wet, they are very slick. Please watch your step. And again, to reiterate, going up and down the ladders, please go backwards and holding on to the black lines at all times. During today's cruise, we will be firing a 21-gun salute in the vicinity of Castle Island and a 17-gun salute in the vicinity of the U.S. Coast Guard Station. Earplugs are available. If you require repair, please ask a crew member and they will assist you. And I will give you a few minutes prior to battery's release, but I encourage you to get your earplugs as early as possible. Because Constitution is a commissioned vessel and has been outfitted for sea, she is equipped with the latest and modern naval damage control equipment. Most of this equipment is out of sight below decks, but you may notice some of it as you tour the ship today. The equipment is manned by a specially trained damage control team stationed throughout the ship right now. In the unlikely event of an emergency on board Constitution, the damage control team will immediately respond to the scene and take action. We ask that in such an event, you please follow the direction of the crew who will direct you to safety. Should you notice any problems, please notify a Constitution sailor immediately. In order to make today's cruise a little more comfortable than those in the age of sail, we've been outfitted with some other more modern amenities. A first aid station is located just forward of the captain's cabin on the gun deck, which is one deck below. If you are in need of medical assistance at any time, please notify any crew member. Water stations are set up on each deck, and there are bathroom facilities on the main deck here, the top deck forward, and also in the boardroom, which is 2 decks below us aft. We will be putting out refreshments as well once we get going, and those refreshments will be served on the gun deck, 1 deck below us. Again, thank you for being with us today, and welcome aboard.
Well, what we have is my officer. He's got this nice, wonderful camera here today, video camera, and every once in a while it's nice for me to get on the other side of the camera. Some people told me I should be on the other side once in a while, too. What's your name?
Casey.
Casey. How long have you been in the Navy?
About 3 years, sir.
3 years. How did you get involved with all this?
Went to school. I wanted to be a teacher, so my friends told me to become a public affairs person. Learned videography, I love it.
Well, that's great. Now, be proud of your service.
Yes, sir.
How much more time do you get to go on your enlistment?
On my enlistment, about 3 years.
And you might stay in.
Yes, sir.
The oldest, 86 years old. I'm not in trouble keeping up.
And he's using a camera like a spry.
So what is your duty here today?
So I am with Naval History and Heritage Command. I am here to tell everyone here about the Navy's history, at least unclassified. Anything that anybody ever wants to know about the Navy, we are here for them as an educational tool. We've got 10 museums across the country. Our website has just about everything you can think about.
Tell us the website.
History.navy.mil. You can spend all day on there. We've got publications like you wouldn't believe, all downloadable for free. All these, the history of every state, territory, Navy history related. Art, everything you think about Navy related, that's all there, one-stop shop.
Could you repeat the website slowly to me?
Absolutely. It is history.navy.mil.
Mil,
M-I-L.
.av?
Nope. History.navy.mil.
Navy, okay.
You got it.
I got earplugs in, so that way there I can't really hear you.
I totally understand. But yeah, take our card. It's got our website on there. And join our social media.
Thanks for being so.
What did you do in the military?
I was a combat camera guy. I did 9 years Navy, 3 years Army, 7 years Air Force, all combat camera.
So you got 20 years in. You're
22.
retired.
Yes, sir.
Well, great. That's wonderful.
Yes, sir. I got the bad back and knees to prove it. So
that's good.
Yeah.
And Eric Ritter.
Yes, sir.
How can I email you what I've done today?
Oh, you can just email it to that website, and that'll get to me. So
okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You betcha.
Look, General. General, how's things going today with you on the Constitution?
Oh, fantastic. It's such a treat to be here, be able to be here with veterans like yourself. Honor them, especially our Vietnam era veterans, and do it on the Constitution. It's a place, I grew up here in the local area in Boston, and came here as a kid and came back here to actually not only be on the Constitution, but actually get under the seat. What an opportunity to really pay tribute to our veterans, in particular
General O'Shaughnessy.
That's right.
And I see 4 stars. Tell me, I was just an enlisted man in Korea. tell me, what was your official duty up to this point before stars? I knew that they were introduced to, but I missed it completely on the microphone.
Well, the North NORAD Command right now, and what we do is take responsibility of defending the homeland. So we have right now, as we sit here today, we have crews doing voice of missile defense. We have crews protecting us against any airplane, and we even have Washington in case something doesn't airplane. So every day we have our crews 24/7, 365 on cover. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what we're focused on here is today we're going to honor our veterans, all the great service. And one of the things we know is we have American population saying he's grateful for the service. That wasn't always the case. And what we have now is an American public that every time we go out, they thank us for our service, they understand our sacrifices. That's a testament, I think, to our former veterans who really have
It's very nice talking to you today.
Thank you. Nice talking to you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for your service.
General,
Yeah.
I work for 2-Star and I've never had the privilege of shaking a 4-star. It's a real honor.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. How you doing? How you doing? Good to serve. Well, thank you for your service too. So what a treat for us to be here today. So.
Well, we got Warren Griffin here. Marine Corps League, not the United States Marine Corps. He was in the United States Marine Corps maybe a century ago. How are you today, Warren?
Doing very, very well. A little rainy out here today, but we're safe. We're having a good time.
And I kept on looking at you and I said, I think it's him. I think it's him. And I didn't see any red. And I said, gee, green, and he couldn't be him, but it is you.
It is. We turn green here out at sea.
Tell me what you're doing in the Marine Corps League now. What is your position and title?
National Judge Advocate. I'm trying to be the compass for the Marine Corps League, taking care of any disputes and problems that they have around the country, and trying to solve them, make sure everybody's walking away in amicable position.
What's remarkable is you stayed active and you're still really active now. You're on the national level now.
Right, but I still do a lot of work at the State House in Boston. I go in 3 or 4 times a week. And just advocate for all of our veterans. So I enjoy it. It's become a lifelong ambition in life, just to have fun.
What unit were you in when you were in Vietnam?
I was with Anglico. We called it Naval Gun Fire.
Oh, you called it in? Huh?
Right.
That was great. I'm not going to say the question, but are you proud of your service?
Oh, of course, we all are. We have a ship full of sailors, soldiers, airmen, and Navy men here.
Yeah, they're all here.
Yeah.
You Coast Guard and all, too.
Right, I called in Coast Guard Cutters while I was in Vietnam also. So.
Nice talking to you today.
Thank you very much. Always good seeing you.
Okay. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're about 10 minutes away from firing a 21-gun salute in the vicinity of Castle Island, the Fort Independence. At this time, if you desire hearing protection, please come up and see me up at the podium and I'll make sure that you get some. Also, if you intend to stand forward of the generator on this deck, you are required to have hearing protection. Thank you.
Hi, how are you today?
Very good. How are you?
Good. What is your name?
My name is Kelly.
Kelly?
Yes.
And what brings you here today?
I'm here visiting with my brother. We're here for the ceremony on the USS Constitution, recognizing the veterans and a couple of people that were getting some promotions, so that was very nice.
And what is your brother's name?
Terrence O'Shaughnessy.
Oh, he's a general.
He is.
That's great. I interviewed him a few moments ago, and he's your brother.
Yes, I'm very proud of him.
You should be proud of him. It's great. Now, tell me, what's your hometown?
I grew up in Framingham, Massachusetts.
Really? And, what area was that?
Framingham, Massachusetts. We lived on Warren Road.
What was your maiden name?
O'Shaughnessy.
Oh! Well, thank you very much for being on camera.
You're welcome.
It's great. You made my day.
It's nice to be back in town.
Oh, where are you now?
I live in Las Vegas.
And you came here all the way for this commemoration.
I did.
And it's great that we have a great day, isn't it?
Yes, it's wonderful. We don't get much rain in Vegas.
Yeah. Nice talking to you today.
You too.
Okay.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. A special thanks to the Concord Independent Battery of Concord, Massachusetts, for the return salute from Castle Island for Independence. And a big thank you to the Massachusetts Air National Guard for the flyover. Several organizations came together to assist in the planning. First, I'd like to thank Major General Peter Aylward, who is the Senior Advisor to the Vietnam War Commemoration. Thank you, General. I'd like to thank Mr. Francisco Ureta, Massachusetts Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Colonel David Henke, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs Director's Office, Michael Baird, representing the Wounded Warrior Project. Thank you all. I'd like to thank Brigadier General Jack Hammond, Command Sergeant Major Bill Davidson from the Home Base Program, our partners here now in the Charlestown Navy Yard. And thank you to Brigadier General Frank McGurn of the Massachusetts National Guard. Thank you for all your efforts. Our first guest speaker today is General John Sheehan. A native of Somerville, Massachusetts, General Sheehan served for 35 years in the United States Marine Corps, including combat tours during the Vietnam War, and culminating in duties as Supreme Allied Commander Atlantic and Commander-in-Chief of U.S. Atlantic Command. Ladies and gentlemen, General Sheehan. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. First, I am honored and humbled to be here today, not just as a Vietnam-era Marine, but also representing the 2.7 million men and women who served in the military during the Vietnam War from 1954 to 1975. First, I would be remiss if we did not recognize and pay a special tribute to the Gold Star families that are with us today. I would ask those that are Gold Star parents to raise your hand so you can be recognized. These families represent the some 58,000 names that are on the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. Most on the wall were young men. Some were boys when they were died. The youngest was a 15-year-old Marine from Fox Company 25 who was killed in June of 1969, TFC Dan Bullock. They gave up 2 lives for our country. 97% of Vietnam veterans were honored with discharge. After they were discharged, their personal income exceeded that of the same non-veteran age group by more than 18%. They also have a lower unemployment rate. There's no statistical difference in drug usage between Vietnam veterans and non-Vietnam veterans of the same age group. Vietnam veterans are less likely to be in prison. Only 1/2 or 1% have been in jail for crimes. 91% of actual Vietnam veterans are very proud of their service to this country. 74% say they would do it again, even though we know what the outcome would be. Today, there are only about 800,000 living Vietnam veterans. About 2/3 of those that served have died. We lose about 390 veterans every single day. Now, I've just recited a bunch of statistics about those actually served, mostly to kind of set the record straight, as opposed to what Hollywood's version of Vietnam servicemen looks like. Many of you here were part of that legacy. But for those of you who are not there, let me introduce you to someone who was there. He's a real person. What I like, as many of you know, he's a local kid from Southie. In his younger days, he was a Marine Corporal, probably one of the toughest jobs in the United States Marine Corps. I'd ask Tommy Lyons to come up here. Corporal Tommy Lyons, when he came home, rather than listen to the Boo Birds, decided with a few friends they would remember the 25 other kids from Southie who never came home. 38 years ago, the South Boston Vietnam Memorial was built. This is one of the very first monuments built in the United States. It was built before the wall in Washington, D.C. That monument stands in the shadow of the Bunker Hill Monument. Tommy and his friends continued a long-standing American tradition that started with our War of Independence, when this ship was first sailing. The tradition of remembering our fallen sons and heroes. So it's only fitting that those of us who embarked on this great ship today continue that tradition of remembering those that served. Tommy Lyons is living proof of what you can do if you care. Thank you. God bless America, and God bless those that serve this great nation.
I would like to ask General Sheehan's 4 grandkids up to the main hatch to present General Sheehan with his Vietnam War commemoration lapel pin.
So you guys.
Ready, guys? 1, 2, 3.
Our next guest speaker I'd like to introduce again is Commander of the North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, and the United States Northern Command, General Terrence J. O'Shaughnessy.
Well, good morning, everybody. Let me first start by thanking Pete. I can't say enough about the level of effort that he puts in and the passion he puts in order for us to have an opportunity today to honor our Vietnam veterans. So how about a big round of applause for Pete?
And of course, I also want to thank General Sheehan for his remarks, and of course, Commander Schick. Old Ironside certainly looks great, and what a tremendous treat it is to be honored today. And the veterans of Gulf Star families, thank you for your service and your sacrifice, and you're why we're here today. And as the commander of NORAD and U.S. Northern Command, it's my responsibility to defend North America today, just as you defended that nation during the Vietnam era. 2.7 million GIs served in Vietnam throughout 19.5-year war, and 3.4 million served in Southeast Asia. And to put this in perspective, this was approximately 10% of that generation. In comparison, our entire active duty strength today is about 1.4 million. Every soldier, sailor, airman, Marine, and Coast Guardsman follows in your footsteps and in the footsteps of all those who served before us. And those of us on active duty owe a special debt of gratitude, specifically to our Vietnam veterans who served during one of our most tumultuous times in our society and returned to a divided nation, unprepared to assist wounded veterans, especially those suffering from the invisible wounds of war. In a sense, you served your country through 2 wars, one abroad and one upon returning home. Your determination, your grit, stands as an enduring example to all of us. And you brought the same courage and grit that you demonstrated in the conflict overseas back to a different type of confrontation at home. And you became agents of change in changing our culture of taking care of our veterans. You raised families and taught your children patriotism and honor. And you taught the nation to honor men and women serving, regardless of the circumstance under which they served. And today, because of the lessons you taught our nation, our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines
enjoy unprecedented level of support from the people they serve, the American people. Every service member today stands on your shoulders and on the shoulders of the brave men and women of your generation who served their nation bravely and with honor. This is a lasting victory of your generation, a victory that was hard fought, and it's a victory that continues to stand the test of time. And those victories were also fought by your families who endured the separation of the tours and duty that they demanded. The families of our Vietnam-era veterans served their countries every bit as much as those who wore the uniform. In a time when we thank our veterans, we must always thank our military families, many of whom paid the ultimate sacrifice by commending the souls of their own sons, daughters, fathers, mothers, brothers, and sisters to the posterity of our national memory. And so I'd like to take this opportunity to once again ask our Gold Star member families to raise their hands and be recognized. And when we thank the families of those who served, let us not forget those who suffered as prisoners of war and the 1,589 Americans who remain unaccounted for in Southeast Asia today. May they never be forgotten. And William Sherman, the great Civil War general who happened to serve at the same time that this very own Old Ironside was a Union barrack, said, "It is only those who have neither fired a shot nor heard the shrieks and groans of the wounded who cry aloud for blood, more vengeance, more desolation. War is hell. And the brutality of armed conflict and the loss of those you love can break the most hardened warrior." And thankfully, our Vietnam veterans today now run many of our most important veteran service organizations that are in charge of the foundations, the hospitals, the clinics that serve the comrades in arms and the veterans who follow in their footsteps. And I have the great honor, once I return to shore, to visit home base, a Red Sox Foundation and Massachusetts General Hospital program who are celebrating their 10th anniversary this year in providing care to our veterans. And the Vietnam-era veterans greatly improved the physical and mental health care systems we have today by helping our nation better understand the unique requirements demanded by our service members. It is these initiatives, these victories, which allow us to help our veterans as they continue to fight for their fellow soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen. And these are the victories your generation has won to demonstrate America's everlasting and unbreakable commitment to those who put on our nation's cloth and serve. And in closing, it is truly an honor and a privilege to be with you aboard the Constitution today. Since 1797, this great ship has served our nation, the oldest actively serving ship in our history. It's a physical icon that represents the greatness of the United States and the people who have defended throughout our history. Therefore, it is fitting that we honor the great defenders of our nation from the Vietnam era and pay tribute to the grit, the determination, the courage that you have demonstrated and still demonstrate today. I am humbled by your service, and let me now say on behalf of those who serve today and all those who live freely under the umbrella of protection our military provides, a grateful nation awaits you as we step ashore. To the Vietnam era veterans, to the families that helped them serve, and to all veterans, thank you for your service. Thank you. I'd like to recognize two people here today. Ms. Linda Cafferty, President of the New England Region Gold Star Wives of America, and Ms. Peggy Griffin, President of the Greater Boston Chapter of the Gold Star Wives of America. Thank you, ladies, for being here. The Vietnam War commemoration has established a special recognition program to honor the unique service and sacrifice of those Americans who are surviving spouses of veterans killed in the service of their country during the Vietnam War. Today, we would like to recognize 3 members of the Gold Star Wives of Massachusetts chapters to receive their certificates in lapel pins. Ms. Donna D. Whitemore, Farris. Spouse Everett Farris Jr. was perished in the Vietnam conflict after faithful service in the United States Army. Ms. Dolores Pena, spouse to Manuel, who served in the United States Army. And Ms. Fran Waltman, whose spouse Philip
died serving in the United States Air Force. I would now like to ask our Vietnam veterans, if able, to please come forward on the main hatch so that we can present you with your Vietnam War commemoration lapel pin.
The dates and everything. That was a good time. All right. I mean, what the hell? Well, thank you for your service. Thank you very much. And my twin brothers. I guess 8 other brothers. That's right. There's 3 of them. Thank you very much, sir. Hello, sir. How are you today? My honor to Airport, all right. Nice to meet you too. Thank you for your service. How many years have you served? All right. Is that right? How'd you like that? Oh, really? Yeah. That's from Framingham. Oh, that's far away. Yeah, I love being back. It's great to be back in the I came here as a kid. To get on the Constitution there. I was still serving in the Air Force, so I'm still running around, but it's great to be back home. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for being my friend. Well, thank you for your service. Would you like a pin? Hello, sir. How are you? How you doing? I'm doing fantastic. Would you like this on your jacket or on your inside? Put on my jacket. All right. Great. Well, thank you for your service. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's an honor for you to put it on me. This is a real treat. U.S. veterans and receiving the appropriate honors and awards. It's an honor to be on this ship. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the service. Thank you. Do you want the jacket or your shirt? Hat. Okay. You're getting good use out of that hat today. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. Phuket, Vietnam, 1969. All right. Well, nice to meet you. Yes, sir. Yeah. You ever been out that way? Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Please stood on your shoulder. How are you? How long are you in? What's your life jacket? Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Where would you like it? I want to put on your sweatshirt or hello, sir. How are you today? Good. All right. Oh, see if I can. Congratulations on being recognized. Thank you. This is our Kerry Collins. Kerry Collins. Thank you, sir.
Hi, gentlemen. How you doing? Retired Navy Chief.
All right. Nice to see you, Chief. Yeah, what on?
Yeah. B3 Orion.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. That's like why I was a mechanic. But I volunteer for the Air Force. And I see a lot of Air Force veterans.
Yeah.
So I said, no, what airplane do you work on? Oh, no, I was a mechanic. I was a corpsman, or I was an accountant. I was it. And like 3 out of 10 were not even working on an airplane.
Oh, is that right?
And I was in the Navy. I worked on an airplane. So what did you do in the Air Force?
Right now we're at Colorado.
I'm out of Randolph, and this past Veterans Day, we invited Scott Tingle, Navy Captain, astronaut. The kid were on Veterans Day breakfast.
Oh, great.
That was awesome.
That was good.
That was awesome. Great. Yeah.
Thanks for serving.
Yeah, well, I'm looking for another volunteer for Veterans Day speakers.
Might get down there. Yeah. I don't control my own destiny.
Where you are?
Colorado. I'm still working there, so they keep it that way.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Station Boston. This is to commemorate USS Constitution's birthplace. U.S. Coast Guard Station Boston used to be Edmund Hart's shipyard, and that is where Constitution's keel was laid in 1795 and where she was launched in 1797. Constitution, laid to the main hatch.
Whoops. As released. Batteries released. Reset! Pump!
How'd you know I was V?
Weathered the seas pretty well, eh? And thanks again there for the hard work of the crew to put this out, and for the Vietnam War commemoration for partnering up with us again to absolutely host a tremendous event that seeks to give a small measure of thanks back to a generation of American veterans who sacrificed much when called to the service of their nation. As you have heard, Constitution is the only remaining commissioned warship in the fleet who served with you during the Vietnam War period. She stood the watch when you were at boot camp. She stood the watch as you stepped on board your flights, embarked upon your first warship, bound on a journey of uncertainty. And she stood the watch as you returned, much changed by the face of war. She was with you then, she remains with you today, it is only fitting then that each and every one of you, as we embark or disembark the ship today, should be counted all in our rosters as honorary crew members. You all receive this as you go, but I will read it now. To all who shall see these presents, greetings. Greetings! Let it be known that the bearer of this certificate has embarked underway aboard USS Constitution, the oldest commissioned warship afloat, and America's ship of state. Getting underway on Constitution constitutes or continues the ship's historic legacy, which dates back to the U.S. Navy's earliest days, when the Constitution played a critical role in the Barbary Wars, the Quasi-War with France, and the War of 1812, and actively defended the sea lanes from 1798 to 1855. USS Constitution's defeat of HMS Guerriere was the first naval victory in the War of 1812, in a frigate-to-frigate battle where the United States Navy was victorious over the rolled British Navy. During this battle, Constitution then went on to earn her nickname, Old Ironsides, when the British cannonballs were repelled by her thick oak hull. From those days to now, the U.S. Navy stands ready to engage in decisive combat operations to protect America from attack, promote American prosperity, and preserve America's strategic influence around the world. In recognition for your commitment to USS Constitution and the United States Navy, you are hereby designated as an honorary crew member. Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip hip! Huzzah! Well, if you didn't meet me before, my name is Nathaniel Schick, and I have the honor of being the 75th in command of this wonderful warship. Constitution and her crew are honored to be a member of the tremendous team of partners who planned and executed today's events. But it is the experience shared here today and the time spent in your company which we will hold dear as the sun sets again over Constitution tonight. Like you, Constitution herself is no stranger to the arduous duty and service abroad in foreign shores. Serving again on active duty from 1798 to 1855, she has plied the waters of nigh every sea, and with many of you, she shares the common bond of having served off the waters of Vietnam and her sailors and Marines ashore. For in January of 1844, Captain John Percival, commanding officer of the USS Constitution, received orders for a multi-year cruise, which led him and his crew to Turan Bay in Cochin, China, which is modern-day Da Nang. Dropping anchor on May 10, 1845, they suffered the death of an ordinary seaman, Mr. William Cook. From a long-standing illness, Cook's body would be taken ashore, and with the permission of the Cochin people, was the first American serviceman to be interned on what would become Vietnamese Seoul. Today, Constitution is the only remaining warship who has stood by you. She was with you then, and again she remains with you today. So thank you. On behalf of my crew and I, we are honored to have served along beside you today, and we wish you well into the days ahead. Thank you.
Let's have 3 rounds for Commander Schick, Commander Bender, and the entire USS Constitution. Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip!
Station, the sea and anchor detail. Station, the sea and anchor detail. Make command and ready reports to the officer of deck on the quarterdeck.
How long were you in?
I was a captain at the Submarine Base Fire Department.
And New London?
New London.
Wow, that was a good guess on mine, because I'm an Army, I didn't know what to say. How long were you there?
With DOD, I had 25 years service. I retired in 2017.
What is your name?
Peter Woodbury.
And what's your hometown?
Woodstock, Connecticut.
Well, you got to come from somewhere, right?
That's it.
And you're proud of your service? That's a kind of a foolish question to ask you.
Well, I was invited here today, and they were able to fly my retirement flag off the Constitution.
Oh, that's a great one, isn't that?
And,
that was something.
In 1812, when the Constitution went up against the HMS Java, Peter Woodbury, my namesake, was a quartermaster on board the Constitution and was wounded in the battle.
Wow, you go way back then.
My family came here in 1624.
Oh.
well, the DoD Fire Academy, which is in Goodfellow Air Force Base.
All right.
And then I graduated the Massachusetts Fire Academy.
Oh, right here in
Stowe.
Stowe, yeah.
Because I was assigned my original station. I was an airport fireman before submarines. So I was at Naval Air Station South Weymouth.
So you got a lot of background in the fire and rescue.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Nice talking to you today.
Same here, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Well, that's great. Now, when do you authorize to wear these?
Normally during our underways and then during our duty days as well.
How long have you been on a ship?
I've been here about 1.5 years, sir.
And did you ask for this assignment, or automatically you get slide in here?
I asked for this assignment. We're screened, so we're all interviewed to come here. Thank you so much.
General, United States Marine Corps, retired, departing. Constitution, departing. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our turnaround cruise for today. Please have patience while waiting to debark the ship, as the brow is narrow, and it may take some time for everyone to be able to exit. Finish up their afternoon. Please use caution when going down the brow.
Good job today.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Special one.
What is this for?
You're an honorary crew member.
Thank you, Missy.
Oh, that's
That's
great.
your certificate, just for you.
How long have you been on boat?
About a year now.
Okay. And how long you been in?
About a year now.
Oh, that's great. How about you?
2 years.
And you think you might stay on after your enlistment? We'll see.
I'm actually going to officer school.
Oh, that's great. We need a lot more ladies because they're more organized.
That's what
It took me a
agree.
long time to figure that one out. Hey, good to see you.
You too.
God.
I'll see you next time, hopefully.
You did a good job.
I appreciate it.